Good afternoon. It's 6:02 on Tuesday, April the 16th, and I hereby call this meeting to order. Could you please bow your heads for the invocation?
Our Heavenly Father, thank you for this evening that we have to come together and meet here in Diamond Head. Please be with those who are feeling sick or dealing with hardship. Please lift their spirits and touch their hearts and fill them with love. Be with us this evening as we make decisions that affect our city. Give us wisdom and patience, and help us to carry out your will. And Lord, as Easter is still fresh on our brains, thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ. It's in his name we pray. Amen.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. City Clerk?
Mayor DeBrio?
Here.
Councilmember Finley?
Here.
Councilmember Lisi?
Here.
Councilmember Cumberland?
Here.
Councilmember Clark?
Here.
Councilmember Moore?
Here.
Can I get a motion to confirm the agenda?
Motion to confirm.
Motion made by Councilwoman Lisi. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
The next regularly scheduled meeting of the City Council will be held on Tuesday, May 7th, 2024 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers located at City Hall. And now we have a proclamation for the Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month. And who did Miss Cynthia send? I thought it was you. Okay. Would you like to speak on behalf of CASA?
Yes, ma'am. Real quick, just to introduce myself, my name's Huey Stockstill. I'm a resident of Diamond Head, along with a board member of CASA of South Mississippi. On behalf of CASA, we wanted to thank Mayor DePero and the council for your continued and long-time support of CASA. It's every resource you guys donate is very impactful to our organization. As of April 1, there are roughly 80 children in foster care, of which CASA is serving around 90% of them. We are constantly training new volunteers. Our next class will be in April, along with looking for additional support throughout our community members. So just wanted to say thank you, and we appreciate your support.
Thank you very much for what all you do with CASA. You all are doing an outstanding job, and we're very excited you've branched over to Harrison County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month, the City of Diamond Head, Mississippi, whereas the City of Diamond Head prides itself on giving back to the community, contributing to the quality of life among our residents, and being a safe place for families to live, work, and raise their families. And whereas every child is entitled to be loved, cared for, nurtured, feel secure, and be free from sexual, emotional, and physical abuse and neglect. And whereas 74 volunteers advocated for 192 Hancock County child victims of abuse and neglect. And whereas CASA of South Mississippi speaks for the best interest of abused and neglected children who are involved in the youth court and child protective service systems through no fault of their own. And whereas governmental, community, businesses, and faith-based organizations should come together with individual citizens to join in a national effort to raise awareness for those children fallen victim to abuse and neglect. We, the mayor and city council, do proclaim the month of April 2024 as Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month, and urge all the citizens of the city of Diamond Head, Mississippi, to participate in raising awareness and helping to prevent future child abuse and neglect. Proclaimed by the mayor and the city council on this 16th day of April. Would you like to come up and receive the proclamation? And can we get a group photo? You want to come up? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, draw, come in a little bit. Couple steps, there you go, very good. 1, 2, 3, 1, 3. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, city managers report.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to give you some updates on our current projects, the Park 10 Road contract's 270 days to end on June 1st. Unfortunately, the contractor has experienced some weather days, which is going to require some additional days. They're submitting to the engineers right now for their review, and we'll get something to you at the next council meeting for a change order for additional days. We're still hoping and expecting to get it done hopefully by June 30th, but we'll see how the weather holds out for the next couple of months to see if they can get done. Currently, they're working on lighting, installation, curb and gutter, sidewalks, and pavers. They're pouring sidewalks Thursday and Friday of this week and Thursday and Friday of next week on both sides to get that portion of the project done. So we should start seeing some real road there for everybody. The Noma Drive restoration, that project still has an end date of May the 3rd, and that should be able to finish that. Contractor has poured the concrete sidewalk and now just needs to install the brick pavers to finish up that portion of that job. The Bowview 2, the engineer and contractor have agreed on an updated scope of work, and I'm currently waiting on a schedule and the notice to proceed on this project. So the engineer's kind of been unavailable and due to illness, and so he's trying to get back on that project to get everything started so we can get that project going. The bond paving, due to the weather last week, we weren't able to get that work done, so hopefully engineer told me that subcontractors should be out here this week to finish up the punch list items of the paint that needs to be put down for the additional striping and repair work on the bike symbols as well as the paint striping. So that should be finished up, and then we'll get that project finished out and close out documents to you hopefully at the next council meeting. Noma Drive Phase 1B, that project's out for bid. Those bids are due on May the 14th, so hopefully we can see that project getting started here in the next few months. Kalika Way, that project got started. It's 120 days with an end date of August the 6th. Contractors started putting up silt fencing around areas that they need to replace landscape culverts, driveway culverts, and so forth, as well as they have opened the road on Amoka Drive. They lowered the water line that's there that was in the way, and then should be able to put in the new culverts there and close that back up. So hopefully that road closure won't be that long for the residents in that area. Bayou Drive, the contractor completed some utility location last week in that area, and they provided that information to the engineer to see if any plans were needed to make any adjustments for that. Once that's done, we'll get a schedule for that project, and a notice to proceed will be issued on that one. Once that happens, of course, that's the one where that road will be open for the entire time of the project. So the new access road going through the cemetery will have to be opened and used by those residents in that area. The Hilo projects, there's 4 of those. I did receive an updated OPC from the engineers, which is actually coming in according to his estimates at below what we had considered to begin with, which is great news. So I'm meeting with the POA this week to discuss drainage across the golf course, and once we get that decisions made, we can finalize the design with the engineer. The MDOT roundabout project and the MDOT interstate widening project, of course, neither one of those are city projects, but just to give you some information as far as what I'm getting from them is for the roundabout project, that work started yesterday, as you guys may have noticed, and will probably be a 2-year timeline on getting those roundabouts installed. The MDOT did tell me that there would be no temporary lighting available on that project during that time. So it'll be, unfortunately, a dark intersection until that project gets done. But they did say there will be a slight incline. That was their term, but I'm not so sure about that, from their leveling lift to the roundabouts. So it's going to cause a significant bump when you come off the bridge going into Diamond Head. I'm not sure about on the south side if that roundabout's going to also do the same thing. They hadn't gone over there to take a look, but they will be installing caution bump signage for that. So we're going to have a significant dip in the road there that residents are going to have to be aware of and be careful of as they're driving across that bridge. The widening, MDOT widening project, that one just started. You can see the clearing of the multimodal path and then the sound wall area. I did get some drawings from the MDOT on that one, and to give a little more clarification, the sound wall itself is going to be on the edge of the road, more or less. So you're going to have lane, off the road, and then the sound wall will be right there next to it. So I kind of expected it would be up next to where the walking path itself is going to be, but instead the sound wall is going to be down by the road. There may be some vegetation or trees, whatever may be left there between the wall and then the walking path, and then whatever vegetation, if anything, between that and the MDOT's end of their property. So, but they're working through all that. There was some questions about, received questions about wetlands in that area. They did that delineation, and there was no wetland determination in that area, so the project was able to proceed. Turnberry, the engineers, well, I said, are working on final designs. We've actually met back out there, met with residents there 2 or 3 times. We've looked at some different ideas, and so the engineers are working on trying to come up with some sort of plan that would minimize the disruption of the residents as much as possible. And once I get those, we'll review them and make a determination of what's going to be best, or as far as the overall project goes. And of course, the funding for it is going to be the main factor, unfortunately, to make that determination. But we'll look at how it's going to affect the residents as well and see what everybody can come up to be satisfied with. Colo Court, the engineers working on those drawings actually met with Diamond Head Water and Sewer and the engineer yesterday to look at the site, and just provided him some additional information today. So they're working on those. Hopefully we'll have 90% drawings maybe by the end of this month, or if not, at least by the end of May, so we can get that project out or finalized so we can get it out for bid. Canal dredging, got some great news last week, late last week from MDEQ. So they're scheduling a kickoff meeting for April the 22nd, where we will discuss the subaward agreement, which we'll get to you guys for approval, and then what conditions, reimbursement process, reporting, and updated. So that project, thank goodness, is actually going to probably get started here soon. For the dog park, good news with that one as well. Neil Schaefer has returned the updated survey. There were some minor changes that have been requested before it's finalized, so they're being reviewed right now. And once we get those minor changes back on the survey, we'll be able to request the re-subdivision process and get that lot split up so that we can look at the one part that the city's looking for the dog park. Also met and had discussions with Oshner's regarding the site, and they are very excited and are agreeing to be a willing partner with the city to develop this park. Other projects that we have really haven't had no new information on, and they're just working as far as design from engineers. And then, of course, there's the rest of the Go Mesa projects. Spoke with the engineer on the Coon Branch project, and he's finalizing his hydro surveys, and we'll start doing design and get back with me on that one so we can develop a plan on that one. And that should be it.
Okay, we'll start with Councilman Marr.
Okay. Couple of questions. One, since you were talking with
Excuse me.
MDOT, I'm just curious. Are they going to be, with the bridge across, are they going to be leaving what's there intact
No,
and
we're
adding
still
to
on
it
City
in the
Hall.
widening of it? Or are they gonna take it down like they did on Menge altogether?
I did not have that specific discussion with them, but my understanding is that they do not plan on taking the bridge down, that they'll simply be adding the 2 lanes.
So there'll always be access
Yes,
across it?
yes, yes.
Okay, that's
So,
good news. The other one
Now-
is,
Now, they did say, I'm sorry to interrupt you there, they did say the on-ramps and off-ramps will have to be closed
Closed.
from time to time while they do that. Initial design was to phase that, like close half and open half, and then at some point in time, they were gonna have to close the whole thing. Had that discussion with them a few weeks ago, and then had it again with them yesterday. And they say it'll be quicker and easier if they just close the whole ramp, do what they gotta do, and then open it back up. It'll take a lot less time and be a lot less disturbance for everybody. So that is gonna be the big thing, is at some point in time, a ramp's gonna be closed and you're gonna have to go around and come back.
all right, the other question is, on the Kaliki Way project with Kaliki Way and Amoka Drive,
Mm-hmm.
they're also silting, fencing Aiki, and
That's
I'm
correct.
just wondering, are they gonna close Aiki, or is that just going to be something that can be left
And
open while they?
No, unless something's different that I know of. No other roads are gonna have to be opened up and culverts replaced. So it should just be Amoka. That's the only one we've discussed, and I don't think any others need to be unless something happens during the project that comes up.
Okay, thanks.
Councilman Clark?
On that punch list with the striping, is the golf club and water tower, is that on the punch list, do you know? To get it restriped, because the 90-degree turn, is there any way we can look at that too, to get that?
I can. I don't know of anything that was, it didn't come up in our walkthrough. I can tell you that. But, yeah, we were just looking at areas where the striping did not take to the asphalt, and we fixed, went back out there, and they just got to go back out there and fix that.
Okay.
But I'll get with you later on that part. We can discuss.
Right. When they do the ramp closures, is there any way we can notify the people ahead of time? If
I certainly hope so. Like I said, I've had that discussion a few weeks ago, and then met with the project manager yesterday as well, and had those discussions about what's going on, what are we doing, and how are we going to be able to get this work done, and what's the schedule going to be for all of that. Unfortunately, we as a city, water and sewer, fire department, none of us were actually invited to their initial kickoff meeting, and for some reason. So, but that's okay. But I got with the MDOT foreman, and he's been very agreeable and very forthcoming with information. So, but I will hopefully get all that information, and we'll be getting that out to residents as it comes up.
Okay. On the sidewalk they're building, is there any way their plans for it when they connect with these roads and they're making it a walking path and bike path only? Is there going to be signage to say what roads what, or is it just kind of once you're on it, you're just on it until you know where you're at?
Do you know where you're at? There will be none from MDOT, I can tell you that much. They have no signage or expectation of signage. That doesn't mean we couldn't do that, and I can get with them to determine if that it will be allowable. Because, I mean, it's still their property and would still be their right of way, and so we would have to get permission from them.
Right. Okay. That's all.
All right. So on the striping of the golf club and and water tower, I know I've brought up the golf club and the angle of the turn. I can't imagine the fire trucks being able to make it. It's almost impossible. But on the water tower and the community center, here's the problems that I see that's very serious. So we've got the multi-mobile path, and we've got people on their bicycles, but then we're letting people off because it's illegal to stop on the roundabout. You're never supposed to stop on the roundabout. But if you're turning right, you can't see somebody coming on their bike or walking. You can't see them, and then they're coming. So we need something there to let the people that are on the multimodal path know that the cars are gonna turn right. They're probably not gonna see them, because the striping is saying, hey, here's the multimodal path, get on it and go.
No, ma'am, that's why the striping all of a sudden comes dash lines to indicate to people in the multimodal lane that the path is no longer a multimodal path for themselves only, and that cars may be crossing over in front of them.
Well, see,
That's-
like you
that's why
just
it
mentioned,
dashes.
you would talk to Councilman Clark about it. I need you to talk to me about it, because that is a very, almost saw somebody hit at the water tower, because you can't see, when you're turning right, you just turn right. You don't think to look, somebody's coming in the multimobile lane. And sometimes people are not paying attention. They're on their bikes, they don't think to stop. So I'd like to discuss that with you, and let you go out there and ride and see it.
I didn't design it. Now, keep that in mind. The engineers
Right.
designed that. That is how they design and stripe these things.
Mhm.
I can tell them that and see what they need to do differently, but.
Or maybe put up a
these-
sign and say multimobile path, use caution in the multimobile path at the intersection. Something to let people know they need to stop, because the cars are going around that circle and they're turning right, and they're not thinking that
Understand.
somebody's in that multimobile lane. Okay. The next question, and this just came up today. Normally I would have put this in an email, but I just got it, I'm riding home an email. The Gulf Coast Realtors Association, remember I hosted the brokers meeting in the activity room. We had the discussion, and we were like, yeah, I could host the brokers on the Gulf Coast, and I sent an email, and you sent back it was okay, and we had the
No, ma'am.
council meeting.
No, ma'am. Council would be the only ones that'd be able to waive that fee. So if the council wants to do that, that's fine. I have no authority to do that.
So that was before that motion was made. Yeah,
No, ma'am. We passed the alternate, or altered the rental agreement back in December.
and we had a whole discussion here about it, and they got an invoice, and
Yes,
I don't
ma'am.
want the city to look in bad light to the Mississippi Gulf Coast Realtors Association. They got a $150 invoice.
Yes, ma'am. I
You
sent
know,
that.
after that, we went over that so we need a motion?
You would have to have a motion because the council would need to waive what is your ordinances, and that is one of your.
Okay, because
Ordinances.
we don't want
Or
to.
policies.
We had them here and we talked about the cities and what was going on, and it's to bring new residents to Diamond Head and talk about, and it was discussed that,
I understand, the point of the meeting is not not relevant.
Mhm.
It's the policy is everyone pays $150 if they rent the facility.
and I thought
I
we
have
all
no authority to
discussed
change
that.
that.
I thought we
So,
all discussed that
sure.
in a. Okay, so I'm going to move to amend the agenda to add under the action agenda, number 10, motion to waive the $150 fee for the activity room rental for the Gulf Coast Realtors Association. Can I get a second on the amending the agenda?
I'll second.
Second by Councilwoman Lisi, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I have to abstain. I'm a Realtor with that association.
Oh, and you're a good realtor. The next item I have is, what did you hear back from Rostan on the tornado siren? Because boy, did we just need that this past week.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I should have had that in my city manager report. That has been on hold until the District 9 hazard mitigation plan was updated. That was just approved by FEMA about 2 weeks ago, I guess it was now. The city of Diamond has already approved our portion of it, so it is able to move forward. And any and all hazard mitigation grants that we have are moving forward now.
Any idea on the timeline?
None. It's still a FEMA thing, and so it could take a while, but it was on hold completely until that hazard mitigation plan was updated.
I have found that working with FEMA, if you write letters and let them know the sense of urgency, and I think the governor would be on board because there were so many tornadoes in our state last week. That's a critical element that we need in the city. is to have that siren so people can know, hey, there's one. I could clearly hear one coming over the house. I mean, I heard it clearly. The wind was unbelievable, but we need to be able to have that siren go off. So do you think if we have a council motion to write a letter?
I'll get back with them and see what their time frame is. Like I said, it had all been on hold until that hazard mitigation plan was updated, and that was, I think, a 1.5 to 2 year process, and we just got the bill for that. So.
Okay.
But I will find out.
The last meeting, I think we were told that the lighting on Jex Drive would be on this agenda. Do we know where that is?
He's still working on the design on that. Hopefully, very soon we'll have something, and we'll work for the May 7th council meeting to get that.
The first May council meeting?
Yes.
Okay, because we're getting a lot of requests. It's very dark out there. Bow View, when is the notice to proceed going to be issued for that?
As I said in the city manager report, I'm waiting on the engineer to get back with me on that.
Have we secured all the easements and right of entries on that one?
Yes, there were no easements.
So it's just waiting on the NTP for the contractor to move forward. The house, and I've been questioned about this, the house on Diamond Head Drive East at the intersection, of Diamond Head Drive West and Bayou Drive. The driveway looks to be at a 12-12 slope. It's very steep. Steep. I know. What are they going to do with that? Is that going to be where they can get in that driveway?
I have no idea. Building department has approved a permit for it, so that's all I can tell you.
Can you check on that?
I certainly
Have
can.
you been by there to see that?
I drive by it every day.
Yeah. It's steep. Okay, that was just, I had a few residents ask me about that, and I wasn't able to answer it. An issue that I've seen over and over again, and I don't know if we need to put a motion on the agenda or how we can address this, but we've got contractors that come in, cut clear the lot, and then they decide they're not building. They're not building. They leave their box, their permit box thrown in the woods. Lots are growing up. The trees are gone. They're not building. They've destroyed the property. The neighbors have to look at it. What can we do to get these lots cleaned up?
Code enforcement sends them 21-1911 to clean their properties, and that's the legal process we go through.
Would it help if riding around, if we see them, to turn them in? Because there's so many.
Code enforcement does that every day, yes.
He's sending letters every day on them?
He sends letters every day to many people who violate different ordinances.
Okay, because there's some that are just, they need to be cleaned up. Did we put in the new, and we need to look at that, in our new codes, if the lot was cleared and not built on within a year, or update the tree ordinance even, then it needs to be replenished? Is this something we could look at adding? If you're going to clear cut a lot, not build on it, then you should have to put trees back. How can we get that implemented?
I'll look into that. I don't know. I don't know if legally that's something we could do.
Like maybe the tree ordinance, we could update that, just that one. Is that something that could go in that?
I mean, you can't clear cut a lot now. You have to leave a residual amount of trees. So I think it's been addressed, but we can certainly take a look. I mean, I don't know how we do that, but we'll have to take a look at it.
Well, it seems to me that with that issue, if they're not building, that they probably don't have enough money to complete the job, and so it's kind of like getting blood from a stone. But maybe when they get the permit, we could ask for a large deposit that if the job hasn't been started even within X amount of months, that deposit goes towards replenishing the lot.
That's a new one on me, Councilmember Mara. I'll have to look into that and see what my thoughts are on that. But I'll take a look. Like I said, the ordinance now prohibits just a flat-out clear cutting. So they do, whether they build or not, they've got to leave a residual amount of trees. So we'll have to see. But your point, I do get your point, and I'll take a look.
Yeah, it is a very clear point that I brought up that we need to look at, because it's we can't just let and these are clear-cut lots, and now they're just, I feel they need to be replenished. That's what I would like. And if it's 20 trees, 10 trees, it's some trees, some amount of trees put back, and they need to bush hog. If they need to maintain it, not just leave it.
Yeah, I mean, my thought would just be if you're planting trees where a house is eventually going to go, you're just going to be cutting trees down again. So that would be my concern. Whether they build in a year or 5 years, you're going to be cutting down more trees. So that, again, this is all brand new to me. So let me take a look at it, and I'll get back to y'all.
All right, thank you. Diamond Head Drive North, the Kaliki project. We've got work on Kaliki, Aiki, Amoka, that whole general area, updating the drainage. Diamond Head Drive North, recently a fence permit in the project area was approved. Did we check the construction plans to make sure that the fence that was just put up in the construction area is not going to be a conflict?
That house is not in the construction area. It starts at that drainage there and goes to the south. So no, it would not be in the construction area.
It's going to miss because there is construction right there. That head wall that's right by the fence where the 3 inlets are is going to be ripped out, removed, a conflict box put in, and then it's going to be diverted over to the left instead of going the way it is now. So there is construction. It's not going to be in a conflict with the fence that was just put up?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Where are we with the easements and the right-of-ways that we are requesting from the residents?
We have still one easement on the Kaliki project that we're working on with the resident, and 2 on the Colo Court project. The Turnberry easements, since we're redesigning and looking into that whole project right now, I don't know how many easements there actually will be needed, so we'll have to get back to you on that one. And then, of course, the bank stabilization project, since that's on hold, it's not really, at this time, we're not sure exactly where we're going to be with that when we get ready to start that project.
And I haven't seen any information what was sent to the residents as far as the letters sent, but I did have a resident, say, I was out at the farmer's market and they came up, that they're excited that the drainage in their front yard is going to be fixed, and they live on Comey. So they clearly misunderstood the letter, because it's the bank stabilization of the ditch in the rear lot.
There is actually the project on Comey, which is in their front driveways. I spoke to a lady about that yesterday afternoon.
So how much work's being done in the front yards?
That's still under design right now, so not sure yet. It'll be same thing as kind of Kaliki and Amoka, where we're pulling out landscape culverts, driveway culverts, and upsizing those to keep the water moving down there.
So on some properties, you got front yard and rear yard easements?
Yes, 2 different projects, but yes.
You did get front yard and rear yard on those?
Yeah. No easements are going to be needed on the front. It'll be within our right-of-way.
Oh, so it's only the subsurface that's in the right-of-way?
That's correct.
Okay. The other question I had on those easements, are we checking, because I did see one sketch, and it was a 4,000 square foot existing, it was 2,000 square foot existing easement. Then we were asking for an additional 2,000, which made a total of 4,000, a little bit over that, and the lot was 10,000. So when you take that off, are we checking and making sure that the lots are still buildable and it's not going to hinder development with the amount of easements? Because there was 0 dimensions on these.
Right. And that's it. Right now we have 0 dimensions on those draft easements. So we haven't gotten to that part yet to determine whether the entire lot's going to be needed or if it will still be buildable. So when that project gets started back up and we start on the design on that will be something we'll look into to verify.
Okay, well, I see why some could be concerned on signing the easement if they're in dimensions.
No one signing easements at this time, solely right of entry is all we're looking for.
You're not getting any easements?
Only if the resident so chooses, but right now we're just asking them if they're just giving them the information, just kind of a heads up more of anything of this is where we're needing to do on your property. and getting
Okay.
the information back. But like I said, bank stabilization project's on hold right now, so we'll get back to that one in the design. It's already altered some. I've got an updated easement already from the engineers.
Because it's always, I'm thinking of me personally, if I had my lot dimensioned and then the easement dimensioned and I saw what was left, it would be easier for me to say, well, hey, this is good, let me get it. But with no dimensions, it's
I understand. And that-
very difficult.
Totally. Right now, like I said, they don't have that exact information yet, so they're still working on that.
All right. Councilman Cumberland.
No, ma'am.
Councilwoman Lisi.
Thank you. John, couple of things. I noticed you did an online survey.
Yes, ma'am.
And thank you. I think that was good. How's the response been so far?
I want to say probably about 50 or so people have already responded since yesterday.
Okay, so how long will that be available?
I'll keep it up for a couple of weeks, then we'll take it
Okay,
down.
well, hopefully, we'll hear from a lot more people. And then I wanted to ask if you could clarify, the 65-foot height, restriction. I know that, people are concerned that we might have 65-foot
Right.
buildings, and as I understand, that was an oversight, so could you
Yes.
address that?
When we presented that to P&Z, Pat had explained to them that we were changing every one of those 65-foot height restrictions down to 35 feet. And unfortunately, he missed one page and one type of building on it. And so
Okay.
we'll correct that when we bring it to you guys 1st of May.
Okay,
So that it'll be 35 feet for everything at this time until we decide that we want to
Okay.
do something different.
So no plans for any 65-foot
None at this time.
tall buildings? Okay, great.
No, just an oversight.
Okay, super. And then someone asked me how they're going to keep golf carts off the new walking trail, bike path
Right.
by the sound wall. Do you know, are they going to have a smaller entrance that maybe, a golf cart couldn't fit through?
I was
Ha-
under
have
the
you
imp-
seen the
yeah, I was
plan?
under the impression they would have bollards there that would prevent
Okay.
a larger vehicle from getting on it, but I'll get with MDOT and
Okay.
determine
I
what
just-
that answer is.
I was just curious, so I could let
Yeah.
them know. And then, let's see. Oh, and then, so the percentage of letters that you've sent out, how many are left?
As far as right of entry goes, it's probably 60% have come back already, so
Okay.
another 40%. And like I said, most of those are still on the bank stabilization, so I've done nothing to try to get in touch with those people. The other largest majority is on Coon Branch, which is another project that just hasn't, the engineer hasn't quite got designs to me. So again, I'm not trying to rush or push those people to do something, because usually when I speak with them, the first thing I want to know is, what are you doing? And right now, I don't have that answer, so it's not really something I'm pushing to get those right of entries in for. The others, like I said, there's 3 or 2, one on Kaliki, one on Colo Court, and then there's 5, maybe 6 residents on Turnberry, but that may change depending on how the project changes.
Okay. And also, I wanted to kind of second what the mayor said about the clearing of the lots. I agree that that's terrible when they get cleared and they just sit there. So I wonder if we could put some kind of legal, this is probably a question for you, put some kind of time frame on it. Maybe when you get your permit to clear, you have to start construction within, 90 days. And then if you don't, there's a penalty. And I don't know what that would need to be, but I just don't think there's any reason to clear unless you're about to start a project. So I'm all for that. Thank you for checking on that. And then, John, really quick, last thing. Could you kind of tell everybody your educational background and career background? I think there's some misinformation in the community that you are a payroll clerk. I don't know. So what's your background?
I worked 27 plus years in the school district. I was the comptroller or business administrator for the school district. Retired out of that, and then came here as my retirement job, really, as the finance clerk for here, and then When the comptroller left, I moved up to that position. And then unfortunately, when Mr. Riso left, I moved up to be city manager.
And then you've got a degree from,
I've got an undergraduate degree from Mississippi State and then a master's degree also from Mississippi State in business administration. So,
okay, well, thank you. I just wanted to
certainly.
let
Well,
everybody know you're
One
highly
other thing
educated.
about your background, my understanding was, under Mike Riso, you were being trained to be an assistant city manager? By Mike, or-
Yes, yes, that was his plan, and he kept wanting to do that and was trying to figure out pay, and I just told him I don't necessarily need that additional pay for that, but I did work with him on several of the projects and was kind of involved in knowing what was happening and what he was doing with the grants and the construction projects that were going on, so which kind of helped make it a little easier to transition into the job, having some of that knowledge already.
All right, Councilman Finley?
No, ma'am.
All right. Is there any public comments? Non-agenda, okay. Okay, moving right along. Can I get a motion to approve the April 2nd, 2024 regular meeting minutes? Motion made by Councilman Finley. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Clark. All in favor? Aye.
Abstain.
And we have one abstention, Councilman Marr. Could I get a motion to move from the table 2023-408, discussion on whether or not donations that were made for the dog park, Twin Lakes location can be refunded to the donors as it is stated at a prior city council meeting? Motion to move from the table?
Move.
Finley, second. Okay, it will stay on the table. Resolution 2024-0.
We're not going to move on the motion
I'm
to
waiting on
contribute
one more thing on that.
for the $40,000?
Mm-hmm. Did you want to second the motion? That's what's on the table.
No, I wanted to move on the motion to contribute the $40,000 to the dog park.
Okay, so we didn't get a second to move this off the table.
No, I agree.
Okay.
So you just passed.
We're
over
moving on
other
to
one.
the resolution 2024-090. Motion to adopt resolution 2024-019, resolution of a state or local government thereby designating Jeannie Klon, city clerk, as signatory for Hancock Whitney Bank for the purpose of closing the city's safety deposit box. Could I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilwoman Lisi. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Cumberland. Any discussion, Councilman Lisi?
No.
Any discussion, Councilman Cumberland?
Nope.
Councilman Finley?
No, ma'am.
Councilman Marr?
No, no, ma'am.
Councilman Clark?
No, ma'am.
City Clerk?
Councilmember Finley,
Yes.
Councilmember Lacy,
Yes.
Councilmember Cumberland,
Yes.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Marr,
Yes.
Mayor Gabriel.
Yes. Consent agenda. Could I get a motion to approve consent agenda items 5 through 8?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Finley. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Marr. All in favor? Aye. Action agenda. Could I get a motion 2024-094? Motion to authorize the city manager to add an addendum to all master service agreements with engineering firms stating per the requirements of the city manager form of government, municipal government, thereby the mayor nor the council members have the authority to individually give orders to exercise and administrate power, therefore all communication must be through the city manager. Motion?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Finley, second.
Second.
Second, Councilman Cumberland. Discussion. Councilman Finley? Okay, Councilman Cumberland. You were thinking?
I'm trying to think before I talk,
Okay.
and I'm trying to be succinct. So, this motion, I think, is necessary, nothing to do with anyone in this room currently, but from now and on into the future. I don't want a banker or a lumber person or a payroll clerk or anybody else dictating their thoughts on our projects. That is the way it's set up now. It's intended to be with one person. I want it to be that way, and that's all.
All right, thank you. Councilman Cumberland.
Yes. So the way our form of government is set up, we have a lot of power to vote on these projects. And if we don't like the city manager, 4 of us can vote to get rid of the city manager. But it's not going to happen, John. But we have that authority, and that's our job. I mean, we're the legislation. They are the administrators. Once we make that vote, it's their job to carry out the projects. It's not our job to interfere with it. And I've been reviewing a lot of emails. As you all know, we asked for emails from the mayor not long ago, and there's hundreds of emails that are CC'd to engineers and legal, and I can't imagine how expensive this is, and I don't understand why you wouldn't just want to
You can't get emails that are CC'd
Excuse me,
legal.
I'm speaking. I don't know why you wouldn't just email the city manager. That's what we are supposed to do. He provides us with that information. If we have questions, he has it. And I can promise you, if I ask John, is it okay if I speak to Andrew? I don't really like the answer you gave me. He would say, sure, go ahead. But we're wasting money if we're emailing Andrew and asking him for plans that John already has. So that's the reason this form of government was set up the way it is, and I think we should follow it. It's just that simple.
All right, Councilman Marr,
No, I'm good.
Councilman Clark.
So like he was saying, it is in our form of government of this already. I don't think adding this to the contracts should be needed. I think if it's something that's a problem that we should handle internally as a council and manager and legal situation, I don't think it should be added to the contracts.
All right, Councilwoman Lacey.
Thank you. As John and Shane both pointed out, this is the way things are supposed to run right now. This is not any new change of policy. It's just to clarify, and it has been a problem. And so it's simply adding some verbiage to these contracts so that everyone is clear. 2 years ago, when our auditor was here, Tiny Case, he pointed out that we needed to be very careful about this. And I don't see why it would be a problem to add this bit of verbiage just to clarify the way things are supposed to be right now. Anyway, it's nothing new, so I think it's important. Thank you.
All right, and my thoughts on this was I thought we were already doing this, so I was surprised to see that on there. And I'm surprised to know that councilmen are talking to engineers, because that's something I never do. I never call engineers, talk to engineers. That's when you get billing. Now, I worked in an engineering office for 40 years, so when you call engineers, that's when they start billing. When you CC them on an email, they're not billing you for that. They're not billing you for. When you call and take their time, that's when they're billing. So that's what we need to. I think all calls should be through the city manager, like I'm currently doing. You answer all my emails. I don't email the engineers and get an answer. You answer all my emails. If legal, Derek, this is for you. If legal is CC'd on an email, can those emails be sent out for public records? Is that not attorney-client privilege?
All the council members share the attorney-client privilege. So yes, the council members are entitled to see any correspondence between the attorney and any other council member.
Okay. And speaking of those public records, my emails, if anybody wants my emails, you can have them, because I'm as honest as they come. I do not call engineers. I do not bother engineers. I didn't even know we could call engineers, because I don't do that. But that public records request to get my emails, which were perfectly fine emails, but they picked up on a date that left off for a prior public records request, continued on from that same date, was very suspicious and political, and it cost close to $700. When I asked for the public records request, I was told that it would cost $1,200 just to get 2 council members' emails. I would have to pay, so I declined to do it. And, you know, it's pettiness and we need to be working as a team and moving forward. So, no, I didn't bother with $1,200. If I had $1,200, I'd be giving it to the library to get new carpet. So that's my point on that. City Clerk, roll call.
I have another thing to say, Mayor, please.
Wait, City Clerk, roll call.
I'd like to appeal the chair's position to the council.
We'll have to start back over with everybody getting a chance. Does everybody want to talk again?
Yes, please.
Okay, let's start with Councilman Finley.
I'm good.
Councilwoman Lisi?
I think that the email request, there was a lot more to it. I think John's gonna, is that what you wanted to speak about?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, well, I'd like to hear more about what that was, because, yeah, thank you.
So,
Councilman Cumberland?
as far as adding this to what we're doing already, I think it is important because nothing on this isn't already in here. And as far as it being said that no one is doing this, I think we have proof that people are. I've got a text message right here from you to Bruce Newton, where you're asking him to look into something on the paving project. So we know it's happening. We've seen the emails. I don't know. Austin, I know you may not think it's needed, but I do. I think it's important. I think that all we're doing is protecting our city manager and giving the engineers a document that they can use that proves that it is that they're supposed to answer to, which is the
All
city
right.
manager.
Councilman Moore?
No, I'm good.
Councilman Clark?
I was reading one of the Covington engineer contracts from when they started the TC, and it does say we can review it at reasonable times, but it also states that only the authorized city personnel could do that. So maybe if it says in there only the city manager can, let's see, only the city manager can tell these engineers and whatnot what to do, instead of saying they have all the communication, because we can request, the information from them. We just can't make suggestions.
Mm-hmm. That's
So
very
maybe if that
true.
was clarified and put out there too, that would help, I think.
You know what I would like to see, are you finished with yours? I'm so sorry, is, teamwork. Here's ideally what I would like to see, teamwork. And Councilman Clark, I commend you because that is very true. We have the legal right to ask for information. That is our duty to verify and check. What I would like to see is projects. Now, there's projects in everybody's neighborhood sitting in here tonight. It would be ideal, and this is what we used to do. This is how the council used to work before this newly elected council. The engineers would come sit in this room. They would meet with the mayor. They would meet with the council members that the project was in their area. You should know your area. If you're an elected official sitting up here, you should want to be involved. You should say, hey, bring that engineer in here and bring those plans and let's look at it. Well, that's Miss Vicky's house. She's been having issues. Did you know that this happens? She floods when it rains. You should know Miss Vicky floods when it rains. If that's your ward, you should know about it. Ideally, I would like us to work as a team Work with the engineers. We've got over $4 million in contracts with engineers, and that is a lot of money. They need to be held accountable. Hey, I worked for an engineering firm. I'll tell you how it is. Anybody wants to meet with me and have coffee, I will tell you how it is. But to have it where we worked as a team and we sat down with the city manager, the council person that the project's wards in, either myself or Councilman Mark, as we represent everybody, we could share it. And we could have input, see the projects. We could catch things before it was bid. We could sit down and look at it and say, hey, you didn't have this flooded, we need to look at that. You know, we had several homes that had issues this past week, and unless the residents reached out to you to turn into the city engineer, you know, he's not gonna know. John, you're only one person. You have a lot on your shoulders. It's a lot of work. And we could help you with that. We could say, hey, we know so-and-so. So that's what I would like to see, ideally. Have it where we had the engineer come in, we put the construction plans out, whoever's warded in gets in here with either Gerard or I, or whoever, as long as we just have three, we meet, we discuss it, we look at it. That's teamwork. That's what I like. But I think we've talked this to death, so city clerk.
Actually, no, I don't think we have. Can we please go back through?
Councilman Finley.
Absolutely not.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilwoman Lisi.
Thank you. Okay, Austin, I do agree with you that we need access to plans and all that. I think the point of this is we need to ask John for them because we get billed when we ask an engineer to give us plans that he might already have. So the idea is to go through John. He's the city manager. It's not up to us to micromanage engineering projects. We are not engineers. We have a city manager. This form of government is set up to have him be in charge, and if we are going to start micromanaging engineering projects, that's just not our job, as I understand it. So I am not saying we shouldn't review them. We should, if you want to see them, and if you've got suggestions, then give them to the city manager and have him give them to the engineers. There has to be one point of contact because it gets really confusing. And there have been, you know, changes on projects that over the years, as I understand it, that have not come from the city manager because the engineers are confused. And I think we all just have to be cognizant of who's in charge. And
Council.
Thank you. But I think it's important to have this verbiage in here just to clarify this. And we don't have any business calling engineers individually and asking for report or, you know, project plans. We can ask John. He'll get them for us.
All right, Councilman Cumberland.
No, ma'am.
Councilman Marr.
No, ma'am.
Councilman Clark.
The one point of contact, yes. You know, if we even worked with John, same thing with the city council meetings. He brings it to us and says, hey, this is what's updated, this isn't what's updated, whatever. That's great, you know, and that's kind of, I think that's what we should stick on to, and we should still only have that one main point of contact. But and if it's going to be in the contracts to state that that we'd be charged for the contracts. We should be charged for the plans because it doesn't say in the master agreement services that we're charged for them. And then if in the contract to we should, it does state that we should all get together and discuss it. It says that, and John is our only main point of contact.
Mm-hmm.
It does say that already.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just the verbiage on it that's a little different. But it's already happening, but it's just the wording on me saying all communication, because we still can reach out to these engineers and planners and whatnot.
We can, I agree with you, the word therefore all communication is because Councilman Cumberland has been calling engineers, which I didn't even know we could do, but so that would cut off calling. And I see why if he had a question, he wanted clarification. You've got, and I do have a construction engineering degree that I'm very proud of, worked hard for it. That was for you, Beverly, because I know you were thinking, you never say it. So with that being said, City Clerk.
Councilmember Finley.
Yes.
Councilmember Lisi.
Yes.
Councilmember Cumberland.
Yes.
Councilmember Clark.
No.
Councilmember Moore.
Yes.
Councilmember Mayor Demian.
No. All right, moving on to claims payable. Motion to approve docket of claims.
Well, we got the motion for the Gulf Coast Realty.
Oh, I forgot that. Okay. Thank you, Councilman Finley. And I'm assuming this is 2024-095,
Do I have to walk out for this?
9A. Okay, this is 9A. Councilman Marr has left the room at 7:03. He has recused himself from this motion. Motion to waive the $150 fee for use of the activity room by Gulf Coast Realtors Association for the Brokers Roundtable. Motion?
So moved.
Second? I second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
You want to grab?
Mayor, I'm sorry, just for clarification, I didn't get who the second was. I'm sorry.
It was me.
Thank you. Go
Mhm.
ahead. Thank you.
The time now is 7:04. Councilman Marr has re-entered the meeting. Claims payable. Motion to approve docket of claims DKT 231658, DKT 231701 in the amount of $308,951.77. Motion?
Motion.
Motion made by Councilman Finley, second by Councilman Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve payroll payables, DKT 231641, DKT 231657, the amount of $48,682.36. PR claim 0001093 in the amount of $23,395.48. PR claim 0001094 in the amount of $30,074.05. And PR claim 0000195 in the amount of $3,048.78. Motion? Motion made by Councilman Finley, second.
Second.
Second made by Councilman Cumberland. All in favor?
Aye.
Department reports, A and B. Motion? Motion made by Councilman Finley, second.
Second.
Second made by Councilman Marr. All in favor?
Aye.
Public non-agenda comments. Mr. Tim?
Your Honor, I'm going to pass. I'll yield my time to anybody else that might want to speak.
Thank you, Tim. Next, we have Sally.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sally Garrett LaBourgeois. I live at 77109 Golf Club Drive. I'd like to go on record and thank the mayor for the farmer's market and all the great things that she does for the city. The recent Gala Garage sale was a hit. My concerns are options for the developers and drainage and fire protection like everybody else is concerned about. We must rely on the city manager, who has a lot on his plate, but we got to give him our support. Trust the process on the Aloha District. And the tree removal, I'm right with you on that. That's nuts, taking out the birds' houses before they have to travel across the Gulf. I'll be running for a directorship with the POA in June on my own. And then I've got my husband and his support. I'm legally a Garrett, but I'm married to a LaBourgeois. So I look forward to using the pool and hope this summer isn't as hot and dry as last. Still, the need for the tree canopy and for the birds is my thing. I have a graphic arts degree. I was a CASA and a foster parent, and want to encourage the city to be clear in print, possibly. I got the survey, and I didn't know what some of the electronic things were, but I know that the Diamond Head News, you can purchase ad space and put down little blurbs, and it's a good source for people who get it regularly, for those not online. the e-blasts, I don't even know what that is. I'm always willing to work with the parks and parkways to plant long-term trees. I've contacted the Grakowski family to work with their work on Mauna Kea, to work with their landscaping, because I'm the house behind it, so I've got live oaks, I've got palms, I've got whatever they want. I'm a master gardener. And so retaining long-term property values and wildlife retention is my goal. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Sally. Okay, public closing council comments. Well, you sure can, Miss Tootie.
My name is Elizabeth Schmidt. I live
Oh,
at
sorry.
9416 Kalikimaka, and I just want to congratulate our mayor on the National Organization of Rare Disorders today. It was passed. She was the rare patient advocate, and I'm probably getting 1 in 10 Americans have a rare disease. Mississippi is the 28th state to create the RDAC to represent rare patient needs. And it was all, Nancy was the advocate, and I just wanted to congratulate her and make sure we all knew that she did that.
Congratulations.
Thank you so
Congratulations.
very much. Thank you. And while I was there, I had a visit with the governor, and he wanted to let the residents of Diamond Head know that he said hello, and he's very happy our projects are moving forward. We're spending the money that he gave us, and that he will be here to visit right after the session ends. So thank you, Tootie. It was an honor. We have been working on that for many years, so today was a very big day. Okay, closing.
One
Yes.
One announcement is for all of you that like music, this Thursday from 6 to 8, right there by the gazebo, will be the open jam with Wes Sanderfoot as the MC. If you know musicians or singers, tell them to come, show us your talent. If you just like to listen to music, bring a chair, bring a cooler, and come and enjoy it for those 2 hours.
And that was Councilman Marr's closing comments. Councilman Clark.
Saturday, there's Kid Fit Day here on the town green. Then also Sunday with the farmers market, we have Chalk or Walk, our first ever. Hopefully we can get a bunch of families and people out there to just come out and do some chalk art.
All right. Councilman Bentley.
No, ma'am.
Councilwoman Lisi.
Nope.
Councilman Cumberland.
Nope, that's it.
And I just want to feed off what Councilman Clark said. So Councilman Clark's working on the Chalk Our Walk. First time we're doing this out there. It's going to be, you've got the chalk? So you just come out, make the art on the sidewalks. It's for kids of all ages. Adults can even do it. I want to say, as of this morning, we have 40 vendors registered for Sunday. So Sunday is going to be a big day. And again, we also have it on Friday. So the farmers market's twice this weekend, Friday and Sunday. So with that being said, is there any need for executive session?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I am going to move that we go into closed session to discuss the need for executive session. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Cumberland. All in favor?
Aye.
So excuse us for a minute, possibly.